Hello students. Uh, as we are just discussing the previously asked questions from the ray optics and I think after this day obviously it's your RT examination today. So after that we will discuss the next chapter, that is the syllabus of next RT, and there that chapter whatever the question that is asked in your board examinations we will discuss that. So first of all, here let's discuss the rest of the question that we haven't discussed uh, in this chapter. And even one more thing that I have told you already, that you have to study compound microscope and astronomical telescope by yourself, as from that topics the diagram, working principle, magnification and image formation, that type of questions are asked, means that is theoretical questions. You can just study that, and a number of times we have just studied that in classes, in revisions and also in videos. So that's why I think that topics are now clear. So here the numerical problems that are asked or conceptual problems that are asked, that I'm just discussing. So here the rest of the question let's discuss today and just end it today. So I think till this day obviously you are prepared now, and these all questions, solutions and preparations will help you a lot to improve you for your board examination. So let's start, students. So this is the paper of 2015, that we have number of questions are asked from the topic of ray optics here. So as in 1 marks, 2 marks, 3 marks, 5 marks. So obviously you can assume that how much important is this chapter. So first question is of 1 marks here. So our diagram is shown. This is a AB surface we have. So this is principal axis. So basically this diagram is shown to us. This is given here. So we have to just mention that the line AB in this ray diagram represents a lens here. So state whether the lens is convex or concave. Simple, in one side someone will say that it is convex lens as the rays are converging, but still as you can see that the image formation that is here, it means that first of all after passing through the rays you are seeing that the rays are not converging but they are diverging. If you will just draw the normal to this surface, then you can see that these are going away from the normal, means rays diverging here, not converging here. So simple, if whenever the rays are diverging, and if you will just draw the actual path of this ray, then this is at this point they are meeting. So it means that the lens is diverging lens or concave lens. So don't be confused for this question. This is of 1 mark question that is asked here. In 2 marks questions, 2 questions in one or in options actually that is asked. So first question is here, that is a ray of light passes through an equilateral glass prism such that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of emergence, and each of these angles are equal to 3/4 of the angle of the prism. So find the angle of deviation here. So in this case it is given that the angle of incidence for any glass prism that is equal to the angle of emergence. So for this I will just draw a figure. So this is our prism ABC. These are two refracting surfaces. These are normals to these refracting surface, and suppose this light is incident at some angle I here. It just refracted from here, and again at this surface this light will feel refraction here. So this is angle of emergence that we have. This is angle of incidence. These are the two refracting suppose these are R1 and R2, and if you will just extend its path, it will meet at that point, and if you expand this part, then this is like that. So this angle is angle of deviation. So this is the basic prism diagram, you know already this. And suppose this point is T, this is S, this is R, this is O, something. Clear? Now let's scale. This is some N. So in this case it is given that this angle of incidence is equal to angle of emergence. Simple, E is equal to I or I is equal to E, whatever you can say. And also these two angles are equal to the 3/4 of the angle of prism. So angle of prism is A here. So this is 3/4 of A. Now we have to find out what is the angle of deviation here. So first of all, why I just draw this figure again to make you understand that how can you find the angle of deviation from this diagram using the geometry. So if you will use the geometry, then if this angle is I, then this whole angle will be also I. So this angle TSR, this angle will be equal to I minus R1, and similarly you can find out this angle TRS. Obviously this is E, this whole will be E, and this is R2, then this will be E minus R2. Then you know that if you will just take the sum of these two interior angle, then that you will provide the value of this exterior angle delta. So this is the property of the exterior angle, that exterior angle is equal to the sum of two infronts or these two adjacent angles here. So if you have to find out angle of deviation, then you can just take the help of geometry. So from here this angle is equal to I minus R1, and this angle is equal to E minus R2. So if you will just take I plus E, this will be minus of R1 plus R2 here. Again we can take one more geometry here. So that is as these two, these are the normals obviously, and this is also normal. So these two angles will be equal to 180. Then obviously as you are seeing that this is quadrilateral, then in this case these two angles, this sum will be also 180. So obviously you can write A plus angle SOR, this is 180 degree. And now as you can see this triangle SRO, in this triangle this is R2, this is R1, then obviously this angle will be equal to 180 minus R1 plus R2. So you can just write here angle, this is A, and in place of angle SOR you can write it 180 minus of R1 plus R2, and is equal to 180. So if you will solve it, then the value of A will be find out, that is A is equal to R1 plus R2. So in place of R1 plus R2 we can just put here A, simple. So this will be equal to A. And also as it is given in question that I and E have the value 3/4A, then if you will just put its value and solve it, then this will be equal to 3/2 into A here. So finally after solution we can see that this is 1/2 into A. And one more condition is given in question, that is this glass prism is equilateral glass prism. It means that the angle of prism that will be equal to 60 degree here. So if you will just put here A is equal to 60, then angle of deviation will be equal to 30 degree. So simple, by using the geometry, by using prism property, you can just understand easily what will be the condition and what you have to use here. So if someone will use the concept for as when I is equal to E, then that time we are getting minimum deviation condition, but still if you will use that formula, then their sign will or you will feel some of the problem there. So that's why it is better to use this formula here. That's why I just made you understand, so that you can just see how we are getting the formula in this case. So next question, that is in the option it is given. So this one is calculate the speed of light in medium whose critical angle is 45 degree. So as this question, I think this type of question I have just explained you yesterday also, but still let's see it again. So it is given that we have to find out the speed of light in a medium whose critical angle is 45. So first of all, you know that this mu is equal to 1 upon sine IC, and this relative refractive index can be written as V1 by V2, simple. And also, if suppose that light is just coming from a vacuum and it has speed equal to c, then in entering in any medium, then what will be its speed? Means we have to find out the value of V2. Simple, value of V2, this will be equal to value of V1, that is c, and value of sine IC. IC is given here, that is 45 degree. So if you will solve that, this will be equal to c by root 2. So this is the value of velocity of light in that particular medium whose on which critical angle is 45 degree. This is 1 mark question here, and still 1 mark question is asked in the same question, that is, does critical angle for a given pair of media depends on the wavelength of incident light? Give reason. So as you are saying that obviously this critical angle is depending on the refractive index of the media, and refractive index also depends on the wavelength of the light. In this way you can see it, this is dependent on something by type of formula. So it means that so as it is depending on the wavelength of light, then definitely critical angle will also depend on the wavelength of light here. So that is very clear, simple. Critical angle is depending on the wavelength of light. Next question, just let me see here. So next question is of 5 marks question, and there are 3 questions contained in one question. So first it is given that a biconvex lens with its 2 faces of equal radius of curvature capital R is made up of transparent medium of refractive index mu1. So it is kept in contact with the medium of refractive index mu2 as shown in figure. So let's see the figure here first. Here I will draw this. So a biconvex lens that we have, and also it is just in contact with some of the medium. Its refractive index is mu2, its refractive index is mu1, and here the radius of curvature of these two are simple r. So it is given in the question. Then we have to find out first the equivalent focal length of the combination here. So as we know that whenever 2 lenses are in contact, then equivalent focal length of the combination is given by the formula, that is 1 by f is equal to 1 upon f1 plus 1 by f2, where f1 is the focal length of first lens and f2 is the focal length of second lens here. So we have to find out here first of all what will be the value of f1 and f2. So let's just find out it by lens maker formula. So as we have the formula, that is 1 by f, this is equal to mu minus 1 upon r1 minus 1 by r2. So as in this case for the first lens, if you will see, then this will be 1 upon f1, and in place of mu we can write mu1 here as the material has this refractive index, and 1 by r, and also one refracting surface radius of curvature will be on this side and one of this side. So obviously this will be plus of 1 by r here. So you can take here minus sign. So this will be equal to 2 by r mu1 minus 1 finally. Next, for second case, if you will find, then first refracting surface, this is it has a radius of curvature in this direction, then definitely it will be minus r, and this, as it is plane surface that we are seeing, then the radius of curvature for the plane surface, that will be infinite here. So in this case, if you will put the value, then 1 by f2, this will be equal to mu2 minus 1, as refractive index is mu2 here. Here 1 minus 1 by r minus of 1 by infinity, and if you will solve it, then obviously that will be 0. So no need to solve it directly. I will put this value here. This is minus of 1 upon r here. Now we have the value of 1 upon f1, 1 upon f2. Let's just put here. So 1 upon f, this will be equal to 1 upon f1, this is 2 by r mu1 minus 1, and 1 plus 1 by f2, as 1 by f2 is minus 1 by r mu2 minus 1 here. So if we will solve it, then you can just take 1 by r as the common, and after that you can solve it. This will be equal to 2 mu1 minus mu2 and minus of 1 here. So this is equal to 1 by f, or simple from here we can write f is equal to r upon 2 mu1 minus mu2 minus 1. So this is the focal length of the combination that is given in the question. So these types of problems can be asked, and this is very theoretical problem. For this you have to use only formula and concepts here, and with the help of that you can easily find out it. Next, second question is given in this. Obtain the condition when this combination acts as a diverging lens. So this is also the conditions in the combination. Means if we are using a concave lens or convex lens, then if we are just taking their combination, then sometimes it can act as the concave lens or convex lens. So there is the condition. Obviously you know that for if the combination has to be act as the converging lens or convex lens, then its focal length should be positive here there, and if it has to be act as the diverging lens or concave lens, then in that case its focal length should be negative. So simple, if this combination will have negative focal length, then that will act as the diverging lens. So to make it negative, this denominator should be negative or less than 0. So if you will just write it 2 mu1 minus of mu2 minus 1, this should be less than 0 here, for to make this combination as the diverging lens. So if you will solve it, then this will be 2 mu1, this is less or equal to 1 plus mu2, or mu1 is less or equal to 1 plus mu2 divided by 2. So when this condition will be fulfilled, then that time lens will act as this combination will act as the diverging lens. Third is given, draw ray diagram for the case is given mu1 is greater than 1 plus mu2 by 2. When the object is kept far away from the lens, point out the return of the image formed by the system. So here in this case, first of all, this condition is given in question. So as we are seeing that when this condition is fulfilled, means mu1 is less than 1 plus mu2 by 2, then the combination is acting as the diverging lens, and here the condition is just reverse. mu1 is greater than 1 plus mu2 by 2. So obviously in this condition the focal length that will be positive. You can just obtain this thing, then this will be greater than 0. So if this is the greater than 0 means focal length is positive, then the combination will act as the converging lens or convex lens. So obviously if combination is acting as the convex lens, then you can just apply the ray diagram as in the same way as you are making it for the convex lens, when any light rays that is coming from a far object, or you can take say that it is coming from the infinity and it just focused at some points on the principal axis. So I think that is now clear, simple. Obviously, as for far away systems, we are taking the parallel rays, and whenever parallel rays are just incident on the system, then obviously they will focus on the focal point of the lens here. So if these all questions are clear, then let's I think in this paper these all questions has asked here. So obviously you can see that here 1 mark, 2 mark, 5 marks questions are here from this particular topic. Next paper that we have from the year, 1 second, I will tell you, that is of 2018. So here one question it is asked in how many marks we have, in 3 marks it has been asked. So that is here 2 questions we have. With the help of ray diagrams, so how a concave mirror is used to obtain an erect and magnified image of an object. So simple, in this case we have to find out a condition when we are getting the real image, sorry, not real, I think we are getting erect and magnified image of the object. So in normal way, you know that whenever you are just putting object in front of any concave mirror, that time we are getting inverted image and diminished image. But still here we have to find out only one, you know already that condition. If you will put the object between pole and the focal point, then obviously the image will be formed behind the mirror, that will be erect, that will be magnified. So let's just draw the ray diagram for that. So if this is the concave mirror, here suppose that this is focal point, this is center of curvature, and at this point we have just put here object of some of the height AB. Suppose h is the height of this object. Now ray that will pass, obviously this is parallel to the principal axis and this will pass through the focal point in this way. So if you will just take it like this, in this way. Next, if this ray will pass through the pole here, then obviously this will reflect from here. Then you can just also take its direction here. This will meet at some of the places. Third ray, you can take the rays that is passing through this center. Then obviously you know that if the rays that is passing through the center, that will follow its own path. Then you can just take it also. So these 3 rays are meeting at this place. It means that image will be formed here, and that image is obviously that is magnified image and erect image. So this, in this way you can easily just make the ray diagram for this particular case. So this is our concave mirror and this is object. This image is formed here. Second question is asked here. Using the above ray diagram, obtain the mirror formula and the expression for the linear magnification. So in the case of mirror formula, we have used the different ray diagram, where we were getting inverted image and also image in front of the mirror. But still we have to use these conditions to obtain the mirror formula. So here mirror formula will be of something of different types. As we are getting positive here, obviously in the case only we are getting V negative, but still here we will get V as the positive. So let's just take it. So in this case, first of all, you can just draw a normal here. So this is point M. So if the radius and this aperture of the concave mirror that is small, then these 2 points you can take as the coinciding points here. So if these 2 points are the coinciding points, then first let's see this one triangle, that is triangle F, suppose this is MN here, FMN. So this triangle FMN, and second triangle that we will see, that is FA dash B dash, FA dash B dash we have. So in these two triangles we can see that this angle is common angle for these two. So and these two angles are just 90 degree, and these two angles are, these are the normals to this. So it means that obviously these two angles are equal to each other. So it means that the triangle FMN and triangle FA dash B dash, these two triangles are similar triangle. So we can now use the property of similar triangle, means we can take the ratio of the adjacent sides here. So we will take the ratio of these two sides. So A dash B dash divided by this MN. This will be equal to this distance FA dash to the distance here FM. So in place of MN we can write AB here as two distance. Obviously these two heights are equal, so let's just put here AB. And also in place of M you can write P here. I just told you why we can write it. In place of FA dash you can write it FP plus PA dash. So this is FP plus PA dash. Why we are doing so? Obviously we can just write down the values of FP is focal length, PA dash is image length, and also we will see later this point also. So next triangle that we will take here, that is the triangle ABP and also PA dash B dash. So these two triangles, if you will take here, one triangle is this and second one is this. Now let's see these two triangles. Sorry. So in these two triangles, obviously this is the angle of incidence, this is angle of reflection, these two will be equal, and this angle is equal to this angle. So obviously these two angles are equal to each other. Second, these two angles are 90 degree, they are also equal, then this angle will be also equal to each other. Means these two triangles are the similar triangle again. So we can use the property of similar triangles. So in this case, if you will just compare these two sides, that is A dash B dash to the AB here, that will be equal to this PA dash upon this AP. So we have two equations. In these two equations, these sides are equal, then we can just compare these two also. So let's just write it here. So this is PA dash to the PA here. Now we can just put the values of all the quantities here. So PA dash, that is equal to here image distance, and image is behind the mirror in the right side, then obviously that will be positive, so we can write it V. PA, that is here object distance, that is in front of the mirror, so this is minus of U. Here FP is also minus here, so this is minus F. PA dash, again this is positive. FP here, again this is minus F. Now you can solve it and you can just obtain the mirror formula. So if we will solve it, then this will be minus of VF. This will be equal to UF minus of UV here. And from here, if we will solve it, then this will be equal to minus of V plus U of F. This is equal to UV, minus of UV here, and also U plus V upon this UV, minus will be cancelled out. This is equal to 1 upon F. And if you will solve it, then we can find out this is equal to 1 upon F is equal to 1 upon U plus 1 by V. So this is the mirror formula that we can obtain by using this ray diagram. So particular case can be asked here, so you have to practice all of the ray diagram for all the conditions, like whenever the object is placed in front of pole and focal length, in between focal point and center, in at the second 2f distance, and whatever at infinity. So you have to just prepare all these conditions for mirror, for lens, both of the conditions. So these are the basic questions that are asked, and here number of concept basis questions are asked from this chapter. So we have discussed all the topics, all the papers here. I think now there is no confusion to solve the numerical, to solve the conceptual, to solve the ray diagram, and whatever you can solve it. So I think students, all the things are clear. Then all the best for your examinations today. So let's end the class here, and we will discuss in next class the wave optics and its questions that is asked in examination.